Hello guys, this is Mohsen AR from Signbox software. In this video, we will differentiate stateless widget and stateful widgets. Guys, this video might be a little bit boring because we will not create any program in this video. We will just overview about the widgets. Uh, as I already told you, uh, in Flutter, everything is a widget. So now let's start with the stateless widget. So here we have got a little bit, not a little bit, but more than a little bit overview or theory about stateless widget and stateful widget. So let's start with the stateless widgets. Stateless widgets are immutable, meaning that their property cannot change. So the word immutable means once you create, it cannot change. Uh, it is the same like a string class in Java. All values are final. Stateless widgets are useful when the part of the user interface you are describing does not depend on anything other than the configuration information in the object itself and the build context in which the widgets is inflated. So that means widgets are useful. Stateless widgets are very useful, but when so the part of the user interface you are describing does not depend upon anything. So that means a part of user interface, the widgets which are not depend upon the any other widgets, like, but there is a point other than the configuration information in the object itself and the build context in which the widget is inflated. So before starting with these points, let's move to the stateful widget. Then I will discuss these points. So stateful widgets maintain state that might change during the lifetime of the widget. So you can say it is opposite of a stateless widget. Just because of stateless widgets are immutable, once you create you cannot change them. If you want to change something in the stateless widgets, then you have to recreate them. Okay, but the stateful widgets maintain state. Okay, I'm talking about the state that might change during the lifetime of a widget. Implementing a stateful widget requires at least two classes. So it required two classes. The class that creates the instance of a state class. Okay, so in the example, in the next video we will take example of a stateful widget. Then these two classes or these 2 points you will that these 2 points will be clear to you. And the third one, not third one, but continue it. The stateful widgets class is itself immutable. So now this is the point. The stateful widget class itself is immutable. That means stateful widget class is also immutable, but the state class persists over the lifetime of a widget. So that means we have to create another class which you can say extend state class that persists state of that class over the lifetime of the widget. Okay, uh, it is the responsibility of the widget implementer to ensure that the state is promptly notified when such state changes. So it is the responsibility of an implementer. Okay, uh, which you can say something like send a notification to that widget. The state of a widget is change. So you have to but you can say you have to change the state of the widget. uh, for example, if you want, when you click on the button, so in that button that you have to change the text of the any widget, so that changing of text of a widget is something like a changing state of that widget. Okay, using the state method. So when you want to change the state of any widget, you have to place only that part of a code, or you can say that part of the state, not state. So only that part you have to place in the set state method. Okay, this is done. Stateful widget instances themselves are immutable and store their mutable state either in a separate state object that are created by the create state method, or in objects to which that the state subscribes. For example, stream and notify change objects to which the references are stored in the final fields on the stateful widget itself. The last point is about stateful widget are useful when the part of the user interface you are describing can change dynamically. So the stateful widgets are also immutable, but there is a class state which is immutable, which send a notification to the you can say which can send a notification about the changing the state of the widget. And so changing the state of the widget at the runtime is also called the changing the state is a dynamically. Okay, so guys, this was a stateful widget, and we have already covered a little bit definition about the stateless widget. So now let's come to these points, and these are very important points in the stateless widget. The build method of the stateless widget is typically only called in three situations. So we have already covered the hello world program, and there we had created a build, not created but implemented, or the build method which is present in the stateless widget, and we overrided that build method in our hello world class. So take example of that class. That build method uh, of a stateless widget is typically only called in three situations. So there are three situations in which the build method is called. And the first time the widget is inserted in the tree, so that means when your program loads it the first time, your build method will be called, and the flutter will move it to the inserted in the widgets tree. Okay, when the widgets parent changes its configuration, and when inherited widget is depend on the changes, it depends on changes. Okay, when the widget parent is changes its configuration, and when I inherited. Okay, the you can say the second point is when the widget's parent changes. Okay, so the parent of any widget changes its configuration, and when inherited widgets, it depends on changes. Okay, so it can also depend upon the parent widgets and inherited widgets. Okay, and minimize the number of nodes transitively created the build method and any widgets it creates. For example, instead of elaborate arrangement of a rows and column appending to the position in a single child in a particular defensive matter, consider using the just aligner. Okay, instead of an and create the multiple containers with the decoration to draw just the right graphical effect, consider the single. So guys, uh, this point is all about it is this point is saying that instead of creating rows and columns, padding, size boxes, to positioning a single child in a particular fancy manner, uh, instead of creating all these widgets, and you can say so many widgets, consider using only just a line or a custom single child layout widgets or something, something another widget. In that widget you will get all these you can say the properties or features. So instead of creating or using so much widgets, you have to just precise it to two or three, or you have to just use only two or three widgets which will fulfill your requirements. Okay, instead of integrate the layering multiple containers with the decoration, draw to just right to consider a single custom pen. Okay, so this point is also the same as instead of creating multiple containers with the decorations. So I need text in the center point. There should be a padding or something other thing for using for to draw a paint on the widgets. So to draw or to use all these widgets and decoration, consider a single just custom paint widgets which will give you all the other features, or you can say which will fulfill your requirements. Okay, so in the simple words, use as many not in the simple words, use a minimum uh, widgets instead of using so many widgets. Okay, and this point is use constant widgets where possible and provide a constant constructor for the widget. So this is another point. Use a constant widget. Okay, where possible. Okay, and provide the constant constructor for the widgets. Okay, consider refactoring the stateless widget into the stateful widget. Okay, so that it can use some of the techniques described as a stateful widget. Okay, such as the caching common parts of a subtree and using the global keys when changing the tree structure. Okay, so this is saying that consider refactoring stateless widget into the stateful widget. Okay, if the widget is likely to get a rebuild frequently due to the use of inherited widgets, consider refactoring the stateless widget into the multiple widgets. Okay, with the part of with the part of the tree that change being pushed to the leaves. Okay, for example, instead of building the tree with the four different widgets, and in the innermost widget depending on the theme, consider factoring out the part of the build function. Okay, uh, the innermost widget into its own widget. Okay, so that only the inner widget need to be rebuilt when the theme changes. Okay, so guys, this point is very simple. It is saying that instead of combining all the widgets in the single build method, and if there is any innermost or something or any widget which rebuild frequently, do not use that widget in the build function. You can use that in the separate function, which will rebuild when the requirement occurs, or you can say the change occur. Okay, you have to use or you have to create that is in a separate function. Okay, If the widget is likely to get rebuilt frequently due to the use of environment, consider refactoring the stateless widgets, the multiple widgets, with the part of the tree changes being this point is also duplicate. Okay, let me remove this point. So everything. So guys, it's over. And guys, it was just overview of stateless and stateful widget, and the use of the build method, or how to create a build method, or how to create you can say widgets, or how to minimize minimize your requirement into a single widget, or you can say on only two or three widgets. Okay, instead of creating multiple or you can say useless widgets. So if you do these practice, then your app will respond quickly in performance. Okay guys, so this was a video about the stateless and stateful widget. Hope you understand stateless and stateful widget, and hope you like this video. If you like this video, press on the like button. If you do not subscribe to my channel, subscribe it to now, and press on a bell icon so that you can get notification about my further videos. Thank you guys.